Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
All right, thanks a lot, and thank you for tuning into the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. I'm your host, Rich Walsh. I'll be joined by Chris Mueller in a matter of moments at the 93.7 The Fan Cam, but we're taking your phone calls tonight, 412-575-2600. We definitely have a lot to talk about. The Pirates and what's going on with the Steelers. I was up at training camp today, and, not good news seeing Maxi Honachor walk off the field, took his helmet off. He was dealing with something with his upper body. We're going to find out more tomorrow what exactly is wrong and how serious it might be. As of right now, it's unknown. But the fact that he walked off the field, I think it's a positive sign for the Steelers because he's been playing really well or practicing really well out there. And I was anxious to see him in that game on August 13th, the first game, which you can watch on KDKA against the Packers. And I would imagine he would have gotten a lot of playing time, Chris, in that game. And that's one of the battles that you got to keep an eye on. Right tackle, right guard, backup quarterback, third receiver. All intriguing battles up at camp right now. Also battles in the defensive backfield, but right now Joey Porter Jr. isn't out there, neither is Jalen Ramsey. But as for Maxi Honachor, you never want to see your first-round draft pick walk off the field after being looked at.
Yeah, but I guess, Rich, if I were going to be a little bit of a glass-half-full guy, unless you've got proprietary inside knowledge that you're not sharing with me and you're just trying to hint at it, I mean, the fact that they didn't take him directly to the locker room, from my understanding, they had him on the sidelines for a little bit. He watched a little practice. He talked to the trainers. Then, after a little while, he left. I feel like it could be worse. Who knows? I might be proven very wrong tomorrow for making this inference, but the fact that it wasn't an instant, get this guy off the field, get him in, and get him looked at in the X-ray room or wherever is probably a better sign than not. But I'm with you. It's disappointing even if he's just nicked up a little bit here because it sure seemed from outside appearances like he was having, I would go so far as to call it a borderline excellent camp for a first-round pick.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm just guessing here. I don't think it's anything serious. All the things that you pointed out, to me, it seems like a stinger, right? And it's just
those can be serious.
They can be.
That's the thing. Mike Humple never even played it down for the Steelers because of a stinger and a neck injury. And the only reason I don't take that stuff lightly, and when we first talked today, we had Ray Fittipaldo on the show, and he mentioned it looked like upper body, neck, shoulder. I mean, don't you immediately think of Broderick Jones? Now it's almost certainly not the same thing, but anything upper body, anything that inhibits your ability to maintain strength, anything like that, you just always get a little nervousness in the back of your mind, I think, with those guys because you need them. You really need this guy to hit. You need Maxi Honachor to hit. You've used so many picks now. 3 first-round picks in the Omar Khan era have been on offensive tackles. You need 2 out of 3 to be the right choices here, and so they really need this to be a minor thing. I hope it's minor enough that he still ends up getting a lot of run in that Packers game. I hope this doesn't keep him out more than a day or so, just because, like I said, Rich, the footwork and all the other stuff, like a lot of the technical, athletic stuff that comes with being a tackle in the NFL, it sure looked like he was ahead of schedule on that.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So let's just hope it's nothing serious, and that's exactly what I was thinking of, Broderick Jones, when it happened here today. All right. Another guy you want to see in that Packers game would be Drew Aller and also Will Howard, 2 guys, and that leads us to our Penn West University question tonight. Just scan that QR code right-hand corner of your screen. Do you want to see who do you want to see as the backup to Aaron Rodgers? Drew Aller, Mason Rudolph, or Will Howard? Right now Mason Rudolph is the leader in the clubhouse, Chris, and I actually think he's going to be the backup. I actually think they're going to keep 4 quarterbacks. It's your most important position, right? Teams don't usually keep 4, but you can find ways by moving guys up and down and hiding them. Maybe there's some kind of IR move or something if someone gets hurt or something like that. But I think you have to keep 4 when you have these 4 guys.
The Steelers don't really have any history of keeping 4. I know the Vikings did it, I think, Rich, but you saying that you think they'll keep 4, I guess, does presuppose one thing, which is that Aller and Howard both look good enough in preseason and everything else, train the rest of camp, that the Steelers want to keep 4.
Well, remember, Aller's not going anywhere, right? This is Mike McCarthy's guy. He used a third-round pick on him.
Sure. It's really, does Will Howard do enough where they say, you know, do two conditions get met, I guess is the way to put this. Do they really like Mason Rudolph as much as like McCarthy intimated earlier today that he does like him? He doesn't hardly need to see him, according to McCarthy, because he knows what he can do, and they value that veteran backup. If that box gets checked and they see Will Howard and they say, we like what we see, we just don't like it enough to make him the backup quarterback this year, okay, then you can conceive of a way where they try to keep 4. Here's the problem, Rich. Say all those conditions are met. If you're Will Howard, how are they sneaking you through? With a phantom injury? Well, you had one last year that they overplayed to keep you in that mode. Are they going to have another one? Oh, he broke his pinky. He can't throw a football. Or it's like Caddyshack. My arm, it's broken.
Yeah, but then he can't practice if you do that. That's the downfall to it.
I know, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
So I do think that this is a little bit more complex than they like all 4 of these guys. McCarthy loves quarterbacks. He's going to find a way to keep 4. It's not as simple of an equation. And if they really like Drew Aller, they're not going to want to come up with a phantom injury for him.
No. But can you sneak Will Howard on the practice squad? I don't think another team's going to come claim him, because then you have to keep him on your roster for 4 games.
Rich, if he looks really good, but they just decide, like I said, that they want the veteran backup, they love Aller because they picked him in the 3rd round, but Howard also looks good, and then they just say, you know what, we'll risk it. We'll try to sneak him through. If he's looked really good, everybody else in the NFL is going to have that tape. Everybody else has scouts working on all this stuff. Somebody will grab him because it's a quarterback-starved league. My goodness, you have Will Levis still saying he thinks he's one of the 32 best guys at the position in the NFL, basically on the planet. Like, that's obviously not the truth. Teams are starved for quarterbacks, backup quarterbacks, even 3rd stringers that are developmental. So I don't think if Will Howard actually holds up his end of the bargain, it's just a given that they could sneak him through.
Well, it's definitely an interesting conversation, and we're taking your phone calls tonight about it. 412-575-2600 is the number. Back in a couple minutes. All right, welcome back to the Ireland Contracted Nightly Sports Call. This is our Xfinity Tweet of the Night. BetMGM. Paul Skeens this season, first 9 starts, 198 ERA. Last 15 starts, you can see at 520 ERA. What is going on with Skeens? That's a big question. I think everyone's asking also what's going on with the Pirates. And Chris, I know we talk a lot about the starting pitching has been bad since the All-Star break. The bullpen has been bad all year. But when you look at the offense and you break down the offense, they had arguably the best offense the first half of the season before the All-Star game. Now it's a .222 team batting average, which would put them dead last as an offensive team right now. So everything is struggling, not just the bullpen.
Yeah, their offense, I think, is feeling the effects of Cruz being out. Now O'Hearn's out again. Griffin's been out for a long time, and they've weathered those multiple storms on various occasions because in one respect, as Merlin Valdez came up and replaced the production of like 2 players, basically in his time up on the big league club after that first initial brief stint. Now Valdez, I think, who got the day off today, I think he might still not be the same because he got hit on the arm in that weird play where it seemed like he was really hurt, and then he came back the next day and he was fine. Clearly something's a little off there. Anecdotally, too, Rich, I mean, you watch the games, I watch the games. It's not just that the batting average is low and that the run totals are low. A lot of these at-bats are just not competitive by Pirates hitters. Brian Reynolds is in a massive funk. Brandon Lau has kind of broken out of it again, but he still is helpless against lefties. And then as for Paul Skeens, and by the way, I mean, offense writ large here, I will say, they're the only reason that this team is still within spitting distance of a playoff berth because they were so good pre-All-Star break, so I don't want to kill them too much. As far as Skeens, another, again, I would almost call it borderline like condescending to the audience because he knows he's speaking to Pirates fans after these starts. He just basically says everything felt good except for that, the 4th inning against the Brewers. Like, buddy, we're watching. It doesn't look the same. Like this continual gaslighting of fans that there's nothing to see here, there's nothing wrong, this is an elective choice on his part to tick his velocity down, don't worry about it. Either there's a mechanical change that he made for self-preservation and it's caused his velocity to drop, or there is some sort of at least moderate injury there that he's trying to pitch through, which is a whole nother kind of scary situation. But this idea that he and to a lesser extent the team keep propagating that there's nothing to see here. He's just going through a bumpy patch. It's pretty ridiculous in my opinion.
Yeah, that codified baseball tweet was the most telling one. Actually, when you see it in black and white and you see how many pitches he's thrown over 98 miles an hour and it goes 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 3, 0, whatever the numbers were. It was a lot of zeros there until you got to last year. Something is definitely wrong. The fact that, you know, his fastball now is 95 compared to 101, that's a huge difference. You know, for a batter. I mean, he's just a regular human now out there on the mound instead of Paul Skeens. All right, let's go out to Tom in Crafton. How you doing, Tom?
Hi, Rich. Hi, Chris. How are you guys tonight?
Good. Thanks for calling.
Hey, Rich. As far as Bucko fever, I think we're in trouble.
Yeah,
here.
it's over. It's over now.
You know, you stick as they say, stick a fork in them. I know it's only August the 6th, but stick a fork in them, they're done. I've noticed in terms of their hitting, I mean, they brought in the bats this year, but I noticed when they come up against some real good, tough, quality pitchers, they don't. I don't want to say they don't know how to adjust. They should. They're major leaguers, but they really have difficult. And I can't remember a couple of the pitchers they went up against recently, but Skeens went up against a real quality guy, and you saw what happened. I mean, he just basically mowed him down, unfortunately.
Yeah, they swept the Brewers before the All-Star break, and they went 1-3 after. The Brewers are one of the best teams in the majors, have a legit shot at winning, you know, the World Series this year, I would guess, or at least if they can get through the Dodgers. I think that's your odds-on favorite.
Rich, they can't handle lefties. I mean, that's the problem.
Another
they
problem.
Just cannot handle left-handed starting pitching. The splits were crazy. I think at one point, 46-31 against righty starters. This is like maybe a week ago. And then 9-23 it was at that point against lefties, and it's only gotten worse. I mean, they're just helpless. They're a self-fulfilling prophecy. I think that they go up expecting bad things to happen against left-handed starting pitching, and bad things do happen. They don't seem to recognize the ball. I mean, like, the bat-to-ball skills aren't good. There's a way you can jump on some of these guys maybe if you take a guess at what they're going to throw and then you tattoo it. Even when they get pitches in the zone, they just are able to maybe foul them off. And, you know, I got to get on my soapbox here, Rich. I'm not, like, super old school like some of the fans and callers are about the things that bother them in a given game. Like, I also don't find Jake Mangum's hustle to be this, like, wildly endearing quality. They played some of the sloppiest baseball imaginable today in Milwaukee. Nick Gonzalez getting doubled off of first base on a fly ball to the track in right field. What are you doing? Andy Rodriguez short-circuiting the one good inning they had going by making the old cardinal sin, committing the cardinal sin.
Yeah. Don't
make the first or third out at third base, trying to stretch that inning or stretch that first to third run, and obviously getting mowed down. Mangum, he has filled in pretty admirably for O'Neal Cruz, but I hope now we can dismiss with the ridiculous notion that some people were trying to float that he was a better player than O'Neal Cruz. The guy couldn't throw Marcell Ozuna out if he had him, you know, standing at a dead stop at second base when he started to throw the ball. Guys are running on him. Today was a really, I'll use the vocab word here, Rich, a very desultory performance by a team that needed to show that they had some fight left, and they didn't.
All right, 5 games out of the wild card. The problem is there's a bunch of teams that are ahead of them right now. I think it's over. 43 games left. You would have to go on a historic run at the end of the season to get back into the hunt. I don't think they do it. I mean, maybe if you sweep the Mets here this weekend, then the conversation changes a little bit.
They still have the Marlins. They still have the Padres, I believe. I mean, they still got some teams that they're trying to run down. They got 45 games left, I think.
Is that what it is?
57 and 60. Yeah, 100. So 45 games left. Sweeping the Mets almost feels like a prerequisite. I don't think it's over. It's very hard for me with their offense, hopefully getting Cruz back, to say it's over. But as many of the things that I would have said, eventually the pitching will turn around. Eventually these guys will all start to hit again at once. I said that for a little while during the beginning of this little tailspin that they're in. And none of that stuff has actually come to fruition. Ashcraft didn't look good again. So I wouldn't pull the plug on them, Rich, but, man, I'm calling family members and saying, hey, Pirates fans, it might be time to, pay your respects here because we don't know if they're going to make it.
Hey, good thing Steelers season is about to start.
It's pretty dire, Rich.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hey, they They carried us almost to the first football game of the year. They kind of did. It wasn't a Steelers game, but they carried us right to the Hall of Fame game. So for many people, they probably did their job.
All right, 7-13 in their last 20. I would think they'd have to go 13-7, reverse it to maybe have us talking about wild card situation again. I think that's what
that would get them to what? They would be 13-7, get them to 70-67. I mean, if they get to that point, then they are still going to be in it, because then you'd have to go something like, I would say, you'd still be ambitious. You'd probably have to go like 14 what? I don't know. 16-9. So what? 15-10, 14-11.
You have to win
kind of
2
record.
of every 3 games, essentially.
Yeah, Rich, they've got to do the one thing that they have proven for various reasons, their bullpen being bad, their starting pitching being spotty, and now the offense being bad. They have to do the one thing they haven't done all year, which is rip off like 9 out of 10 games and go 9-1 and do something to like vault themselves back into this. And I'll say one more thing. This is why, as much as Cherington did a good job helping out the bullpen, the fact that he went in and assumed too many things about it before the season and had such a, just gasoline on a fire group back there, a bunch of fire starters, not guys putting out the fire, is why they're in this predicament. Give them 5 more wins. You could probably give them realistically 7 or 8 games that they truly blew in inexcusable fashion. Give them 5 more and look at how much better that record looks when you flip it and they're 62-55 and 55.
Yeah, and you can afford a stretch like this. All right, we got to take a break. Back in a couple minutes. All right, welcome back. Let's get right back out to the phone lines. We got Jim. Jim is gone. Okay, we were waiting around for Jim. No longer there, but we can still handle the next minute and 20
disappeared.
seconds. He wanted to talk about Hines Ward getting in the Hall of Fame. I'm guessing that's what the question was. I don't know if he will. Do you think he deserves to get in the Hall of Fame, since we have Hall of Fame game out there today, watching Hall of Fame quarterback Kenny Pickett?
I mean, I do think that there's a slight dilution of the Hall of Fame, and that's maybe the wrong thing to say when I'm about to talk about Hines, because to me, he's like the epitome of just very good to great football player. He played for a team that didn't want to pass the ball as much as other teams did. He had other weapons that were around him that were elite. For me, he just gets over the line, but he does, which is all that matters. You don't care if it's close. If I had a Hall of Fame vote, I would feel very good about standing up and making an impassioned case that Hines Ward is a Hall of Fame caliber player. I just don't think the Hall is going to see it that way. But to me, the guy revolutionized wide receiver play by blocking the way he did.
Yeah, I think Ben Roethlisberger's the next one to get in, obvious. Maybe Mike Tomlin at some point. He's a Hall of Fame coach, potentially. That's another debate. Thanks a lot, Chris. We'll see you next week. Hopefully we see you guys on KDKA News right now.